Hey there, amazing people. Ever wondered what your boss really thinks of you when they're not around? What if they saw something you did after hours, something completely unexpected? Stick around because this story, this one's just for you. Hit that like button for good vibes, and tell me in the comments, what's the most surprising thing you've ever done when you thought no one was watching? Let's dive in. The fluorescent lights of precision prints hummed, a lonely tune echoing through the otherwise deserted office. It was way past quitting time. Most folks had long since packed up, eager to get home to their families, their dinners, their quiet evenings. But not Finley. Finley, a usually quiet and unassuming graphic designer, was still there. Not hunched over his computer, not tidying his desk. No, Finley was in the small, rarely used break room, and he wasn't alone. Across from him sat Mrs. Gable, the sweet but often flustered receptionist, her eyes red-rimmed. A half-empty box of tissues sat between them on the worn Formica tabletop. Finley was gently patting her hand, his brow furrowed with concern. You see, earlier that day, Mrs. Gable had received some devastating news about her ailing pet. Everyone had offered their condolences, a few kind words here and there, before getting back to their deadlines. But Finley had stayed. Now, from the shadows of the hallway, a figure watched. It was Mr. Abernathy, the CEO, a man known more for his sharp business acumen and demanding nature than for any sort of sentimentality. He'd forgotten his briefcase and had come back to retrieve it. The soft murmur of voices had drawn him to the break room. He could hear Finley speaking, his tone low and soothing. "It's okay, Mrs. Gable," Finley was saying, his voice surprisingly steady. "It's all right to feel sad. He was a part of your family." Mrs. Gable sniffled, trying to compose herself. He was my best friend, Finley. For 15 years. Finley nodded, understanding etched on his face. "I know it hurts. But you gave him a good life. A really good life." Mr. Abernathy leaned against the doorframe, a strange feeling stirring within him. He'd always considered Finley a good worker, efficient and reliable, but somewhat invisible. He'd never really paid him much personal attention. Now, seeing this quiet display of empathy, this genuine human connection, a different picture of Finley was beginning to form. Finley reached into his backpack and pulled out a small, carefully wrapped package. I know it's not much," he said hesitantly, handing it to Mrs. Gable. "But I made this for you." With trembling hands, Mrs. Gable unwrapped it. Inside was a beautifully hand-drawn portrait of her beloved pet, his kind eyes looking out from the paper. A single tear rolled down Mrs. Gable's cheek, but this time, it wasn't a tear of pure sadness. A small, fragile smile touched her lips. "Oh, Finley," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. It's beautiful." Finley's face softened. "I saw a picture of him on your desk. He looked like a real sweetheart." Mr. Abernathy felt a lump in his throat. He remembered all the times he'd rushed past Mrs. Gable's desk, barely acknowledging her beyond a curt nod. He'd been so focused on profits and performance that he'd overlooked the simple humanity that held his company together. He quietly slipped away, retrieving his briefcase without making his presence known. As he drove home that night, his mind wasn't on spreadsheets or quarterly reports. It was on the image of Finley comforting Mrs. Gable, on the quiet compassion that had filled that small break room. The next morning, Finley was at his desk, diligently working on a new design. He was surprised when Mr. Abernathy approached him. The CEO rarely ventured out of his corner office. "Finley," Mr. Abernathy said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "Could I have a word with you in my office?" A wave of anxiety washed over Finley. Had he done something wrong? Was he going to be reprimanded for staying late? He followed the CEO, his heart pounding in his chest. Mr. Abernathy gestured for him to sit down. The large office, usually intimidating, felt different today. The CEO seemed different. "Finley," he began, leaning back in his chair. I happened to be in the office late last night." Finley's eyes widened slightly. He braced himself for the worst. "I saw you with Mrs. Gable," Mr. Abernathy continued. "I saw what you did for her." A wave of relief washed over Finley, quickly followed by a sense of unease. Was he going to be praised? It felt odd coming from Mr. Abernathy. "Finley," the CEO said, his gaze direct and sincere. "That portrait you made, it was a truly kind and thoughtful gesture. It showed a level of empathy and compassion that, well, it impressed me deeply." Finley didn't know what to say. He just mumbled a quiet, "Thank you, sir." Mr. Abernathy nodded. "You know, Finley, we often get so caught up in the day-to-day operations of this company, in the pursuit of our goals, that we forget the most important thing, the people. The people who work here, who pour their hearts and souls into their jobs, who have their own lives, their own struggles. He paused, a hint of vulnerability in his eyes. My wife, she passed away a few years ago. I remember the kindness of the people around me, the small gestures that made all the difference during a very dark time. What you did for Mrs. Gable reminded me of that. Finley listened, a sense of understanding blossoming within him. He had always seen Mr. Abernathy as a distant, almost robotic figure. Now he was seeing a glimpse of the human being beneath the sharp suit and stern demeanor. Finley, Mr. Abernathy said, a newfound warmth in his voice. I want to do something for you. You have a real talent, not just in your design work, which is excellent, but in your ability to connect with people. I've been thinking, we need someone to lead our new employee well-being initiative. Someone who understands the importance of creating a supportive and caring work environment. Would you be interested? Finley was stunned. This was completely unexpected. A new role? Leading a company initiative? Him? Sir, he stammered, I don't know what to say. Think about it, Mr. Abernathy said, a small smile playing on his lips. But I believe you're exactly the person for this. You see things that others miss, Finley. You see the human heart. Over the next few weeks, Finley transitioned into his new role. He organized support groups, implemented flexible work arrangements, and created a mentorship program. He made Precision Prints not just a place of work, but a community. And Mr. Abernathy? He became a different kind of CEO, one who valued empathy and connection just as much as profit margins. Sometimes, the most extraordinary things happen in the quietest moments, when no one seems to be watching. A simple act of kindness, a moment of genuine compassion, can ripple outwards, changing not only one life, but an entire workplace. It reminds us that true leadership isn't just about the bottom line. It's about seeing the value in every single person. It's about understanding that even after hours, the human spirit, in its quiet strength and empathy, is always at work. What do you think? Has a seemingly small act of kindness ever had a big impact on your life or workplace? Share your stories in the comments below. And remember, a little bit of caring can go a long, long way.